नमस्कार जैन जी, नमस्कार।
नमस्कार, गुड इवनिंग।
Welcome to
कैसे हैं?
365 series of summits, 365 summits and 500 plus finance speakers monologue on subjects of expertise. We've completed almost 130 summits as of now in this particular year of Amrit Mahotsav. Today is a day to celebrate the PSU's contribution to Amrit Mahotsav 75 years of India's independence and going forward towards Amrit Kaal, which starts next year, as depicted or probably acronymed by the Prime Minister as the next golden 25 years to take India to numero uno position in the world. Public sectors will be playing an inextricably very what do you call indispensable role in building this future. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you as the first speaker on this day of summit, and we would request you to kindly take us through your role as 10 minutes, Sri A.K. Jain, for the this kind of depiction or enumeration of your role as the CMD of REIL, one of India's mini Ratna companies under the public sector undertakings. And this is not a monologue. So 10 minutes because other speakers will be joining in from after you, and as they join, they will be also speaking. So we would request to listen to you for 10 minutes on the subject of the role of public sector companies on building an Atmanirbhar, and for Sadashikaran also, for indigenization as well. And apart from that, how important are public sector in the next 25 years? What are the key important areas that the public sector need to take care of in the next 25 years to build a great nation? Over to you, Sri A.K. Jain, Akhilesh Jain, Dr. Akhilesh Kumar Jain, former CMD REIL.
Thank you, Mr. Amit. I'm really happy to be part of Vision India Forum. And we are now in the culture from Amrit Mahotsav to Amrit Kaal. If we see the CPSC's role in last, I would say 70 years, and if we see critically last 50 years, 30 years, 20 years, 10 years, and last even 7 years, we see many things in common. The CPSCs has done excellently well in certain areas, had it been railways, oil, petroleum, defense, many electronics industries as well, renewable energy, and to some extent, if we see the aviation and telecom. Now we see the oil and petroleum. It is a world-class infrastructure in our country. If we see the railways, it is again another huge infrastructure across the country, connecting every village to even Dhani or the borders and across the country. If we talk of defense, yes, there are few PSUs who are exclusively working for defense, and our everything technology and everything has been retained confidential until now. If we talk of electronics, yes, there are many companies who has worked very well in electronics, but those companies who had problem, the reason of problem is that they could not transform, they could not adopt to the new technology solutions. That's why they failed. But the company where adaptability was better, and who could transform the changes as per the need of the hour, and REL was one of those. Bharat Electronics Limited was one of those. To some extent, ECIL was one of those. BEL, REIL, these three companies were primarily there. And these three companies competed very well with Tata BP Solar. And they created infrastructure, they changed with the time, and they could do anything and everything possible in renewable energy sector. If I talk of contribution of REIL in renewable energy sector, we ran many pilot projects, starting from having the largest off-grid megawatt solution across the state of Rajasthan, providing the electricity to 2 lakh homes in UP and Tamil Nadu, including Rajasthan, providing first 1 megawatt rooftop solar solution in railways. So these are few, exclusive initiatives which are taken by REL. One more initiative I would like to share with you is that in collaboration with National Dairy Development Board, we did a pilot project in the state of Gujarat where we prepared 14 farmers whose fields, whose farms can be used for the solar power generation. And after 3-4 years, they were also ready to leave the electricity connection. And this is where the Kusum, the largest electricity or the rural energy initiative on the globe, was taken in India, and Honorable Prime Minister has launched the scheme in year 2018. And with this scheme alone, the country would be generating 27 gigawatt, and by the farmers who were giving earlier the subsidized electricity. Now, if I see the challenges and the positive part of these PSUs, PSUs has always worked aligning their business objective with the national objective. There has been a lot of confidence across the borders, government, state government, and largely the public. If we talk of governance, yes, there's huge governance in each and every PSU, and wherever governance was not there, the PSU failed. If we talk of due diligence, yes, while doing the project, there were due diligence, employees were made responsible. There were a lot of trust amongst the employees, whether the junior or the senior. If we talk of technology adoption, yes, technology adoption was there, but there were challenges. If the leadership is not good, technology was not changed, was not adopted. Employability, if we talk, yeah, PSU could contribute to the larger level of employability across the country. Geographical reach, yes, each PSU had a geographical reach, maybe some initial years, some after 10 years, 15 years. If we talk of vigilance, yeah, there was preventive vigilance and the punitive vigilance both, so that kept the PSU ethical, a truthful, a responsive culture. If we talk of large size projects, probably PSU, oil, petroleum, defense, energy, electronics, they have taken very, very big projects, and they did it in a completely systematic manner. If we talk of driving national mission, yes, PSUs were not left behind, and they contributed a lot to the national mission, and they have met the country's objective. Huge contribution in terms of critical times, like when tsunami was there in southern part of the country, PSUs contributed a lot. When there was a cloud burst in Leh Ladakh, yes, PSU contributed a lot. When earthquake was there, yes, again the same story. And recent the COVID, yes, they are also the same situation. If we talk of economically and sustainable environment, I think PSUs has largely contributed in continuing the sustainable and economical environment in the country. Yes, they had a manufacturing quality product projects, but at a price not much below the price or much above the price. So price penetration in the market has been huge through PSUs. If we talk of employee knowledge, it's huge. We often see that a successful employee or a good employee who gets superannuated or who leaves PSU in between, they are hired at 3 times and 4 times of the salary. If we talk of challenges, there are challenges. The one most important challenge is speed of transformation. So the sector which has a high speed of transformation, probably most PSUs could not met their speed. So they suffered, and ultimately they closed as well. Second point is time-taking decisions, time-taking procedures. PSUs are supposed to follow certain procedures, and these procedures, if they are not made in dynamic mode by the then leadership, then it becomes a time-taking exercise, and PSUs miss the bus. Execution time of the project, sometimes if the PSU is not efficient, not good, or the leadership is not good, execution time becomes high, and those ways, the profitability gets impacted. There's a very big issue, rather I would say challenge, the fear of facing CVC, CBI, and CIC. So most of the PSU employees and even the leaders, they are afraid of, and sometimes they do not take decisions which are in the interest of the company because they are afraid of CVC, CBI, and CIC. But I would say, if it's a company interest, if it's a public interest, yes, leadership should respond and mold their processes, mold their decision, aligning with the company objective and the national objective. Weak leadership in PSUs has always been challenged. Wherever there's not a good leadership, there's always a challenge. So weak leadership has contributed a lot wherever PSU has failed. Employees' commitment, many times it is seen that employees are not committed because at times they work for their own individual goals. So that leads to many deficiencies in the company. So that's also, so my experiment, which I did in last 9 years of tenure in REIL, that I made employee accountable. I made divisions, departments accountable. I asked them to make to have those numbers like per employee turnover, per employee profit, per employee production, per employee corporate social responsibility. So I connected all employee with all the objectives, the sustainable goals, so-called, which are needed in today's world. And when we are talking of Amrit Mahotsav, probably the global sustainable goals as now being aligned with the national goals. And there also I see a lot of potential in PSUs. And I would say that in PSU, in the time which is coming now, and where the PSU has to contribute even more, PSU now needs to compete to the private sector. There's no doubt about it. And they have to prepare themselves in a much better way, in a much professional way, and in a much the dynamic way of decision making.
Janji,
so here I would say,
Janji, sorry to interrupt. Your views, if you don't mind, your views on the disinvestment, battery of disinvestment process that has started. What would you like to say to that?
So I would say that disinvestment is a very good idea. And wherever PSUs are not performing to the level of private organizations, I would say it should be disinvested. Why not? And I often see the statement from government and even from the public that if the PSU is not efficient, there's no point in retaining the PSU just because of that it is PSU. So disinvestment should be welcomed with the point of view that there will be a huge change in the PSU culture. Now the culture has changed a lot, and the typical old PSU culture cannot function. So wherever such situation is there, inefficiency is there, other cultural issues are there, PSU should be disinvested. I'm also seeing that disinvestment targets, though it has been set, but could not be met so far. So there may be some issues which I'm not much aware, but yeah, I'm in favor of this disinvestment, and disinvestment should be done for all inefficient PSUs.
There is also a huge amount of merger happening in sectors like defense. For example, a lot of companies were merged together so as to have one single kind of administrative control. So any views on that? And also finally, before we let you go, from Mini Ratna 1 to category 1 to 2 to 1, and then Maharatna, then Navaratna, what is the process of driving a PSU from a Mini Ratna category 2 status to a Navaratna or a Maharatna?
So when you talk of defense, yeah, Bharat Electronics and ECL, these are the two companies who work for defense. To some extent, CL also used to do before. I would say, see, wherever we have any technology confidentiality or security issue, what can be done is that PSU can manufacture the black box. and that technology can be retained with PSU. But rest of the things can be done by private. So there are models which can take care of confidentiality, security, and the private PSU partnership. So if we do this way, then even the defense things related to the defense can be done together in a partnership mode, where our core technology can be in the shape of a black box, which can be manufactured right in the PSU, and remaining thing can be done outside or with any partner. The second question which you said was, what was the second question, Amici? I just forgot.
Driving a PSU from a Mini Ratna category 2 status to a 1, then Maharatna,
Yeah.
Navaratna. What is the process?
So that's a very
PMD, you know it
right.
best.
Yeah, so that's a very good question. In fact, 1997, very interesting journey of mine. REL was initially given the Mini Ratna status way before around 2000. I think around 2000, or 2004 or 6. So when I took over as managing director in 2011, and when I mapped the criteria, I found that REL can be categorized in Schedule B category, and when you can be categorized in Schedule B category, then you can move to Mini Ratna 1 and then to Navratna. So that was a huge gap. As far as top line and bottom line are concerned, we were best in C category. We were also best in B category. So in most of the criteria, we were at number 1 or at number 2. But when it reached to a board which consists of PSV chairman, which consists of DP secretary, and which consists of heavy industry secretary, I remember the case where our secretary DHI has pleaded. Even secretary DP was also in our favor. Then some decision was taken. I said that I am alone functional director, and I have brought this company from 100 CR to 270 CR. Now it is becoming difficult to me without having another director. These problems they listened. They were convinced, but then something came in between that there is no procedure, a clear-cut procedure to upgrade the status of the PSU or to change the category. So incidentally, that has not happened during last many years, and many PSUs has definitely suffered on that account, and they lack that motivation. So I am a strong believer that this category changes from Mini Ratna to Mini Ratna 1 to Navratna and to Maharatna, and from Schedule D to C and B and A should definitely happen. The criteria can be anything. I'm not questioning any criteria, because whatever they were there, I was quite comfortable, and organization can sustain by following those criteria. So those criteria are okay, because they are completely based on top line, on bottom line, on meeting the national objectives, on meeting the employment objective, on meeting the sustainable goals for the organization itself, having a clear vision, mission. So I think all these things, even it was innovation oriented, R&D oriented. So those criteria all were good, and I was quite comfortable. But the irony is, I tried almost 9 years, but I could not upgrade this PSU from Schedule C to Schedule D, and of course from Mini Ratna 2 to Mini Ratna 1.
Are you in favor of the Air India disinvestment, Air India privatization that happened?
See, Air India, I think in Air India, if you ask me personally, though they were meeting many objectives, particularly reaching to the outreach, but the major issue was that there was a lot of complacency also in the employees' mind. And at times we have seen, though there are many better side of the employees, but there were challenges also on employee side. So I think to bring the cultural change, to have the efficiency, and to adopt to the latest technology upgradation, I think in today's situation, because Air India is ailing company for last many years, and all type of bureaucrats, all type of leaders have been trying there from PSU side or from government side, but they could not change. So there could be some policy limitations, there could be some knowledge limitation, or there could be some infrastructure limitation or maybe vision, mission, and everything. So I think the disinvestment of or the privatization of Air India is in right direction, provided we do not change our mission and vision. That's very important. So if we carry the same vision, if we carry the same mission, then probably privatization is good, and it will definitely help the aviation industry in a big way.
Finally, your 3 to 5 points to make India, kind of a solar power or a renewable resources energy power of the world. What are your 5 points? Because that's the domain that you donned for a few years.
When it comes to renewable energy, we all know that Honorable PM is wanting to complete the 450 gigawatt by year 2030, and electric mobility has also is also needed to happen by that time. So PSUs, particularly who are in the renewable energy, the PSUs who are into power business, the PSUs who are into oil and petroleum, because they will be largely disrupted when electric mobility is there. So I think oil and petroleum and power PSU need to come together, have a hand-holding, including ESL, Power Trading, Power Finance Corporation. So they are already going in a big way. And now NTPC and all power companies are efficiently working. So I think the PSUs can be a game changer in renewable energy achievements of 100 gigawatt, which is to be done by 2022, and for 450 gigawatt up to 2030. But here the important factor is that manufacturing linked incentive, that's a PLI scheme. The PSUs has to take advantage of that, and PLI scheme has been already announced, and PSUs are doing. So I would say, but renewable energy sector, we cannot leave the private sector. So private sector and PSU has to work in tandem, and I'm confident that PSU should not be left behind in case of renewable energy. So I see a lot of potential and a lot of responsibility of PSU, which can be done by PSU, because they understand power. They have created power infrastructure across the country. They are already power generator in the country. The oil and petroleum, which is going to face the largest disruption. So for them, it's an opportunity. So I think for renewable energy, yes, PSUs is the way forward.
Thank you, Janji. Thank you, Janji. We'll get in touch with you with respect to more details on also the electric vehicle segment, because that is something which we want you to speak on. Electric vehicles is what is going to be the future of India's transportation and India's future. Solar renewable sources of energy will be very, very crucial to driving the electric vehicle segment in this country. Look forward to meeting you soon. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us. Thank you.